Indeed, and greetings upon you, beloved and holy friends. Thank you so much for joining me here again today, Shannon. Such a pleasure seeing you here already. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing a moment with me. Thank you for choosing non-violence, for choosing to be in a state of acceptance and love instead of a state of conflict and aggression. I appreciate that, and I'm saying thank you, even though I don't really know if that is what you're actually doing. But in saying thank you, hopefully something happens in our brains and we choose to do it that way instead of the other. Tate, brother Bear, it's been forever since I've seen you in stream. Thank you for joining me, man. It's so nice to have you here. At the end of yesterday's stream, we mentioned you a little bit. I think a friend wanted someone. He had free time on Thursday. So on Thursday he had free time. So on Thursday, if you would have free time to spend some time with him, and we were like, no, sorry, friend, no, we're busy on Thursday. We're going to listen to some jams with Tate. Sending you good vibes, brother Bear. You are so loved. Do know that you are so loved. I'm gonna read something worth saying, and then we're going to do a little bit of breathing, going to take ourselves through layers of awareness, and then we're going to talk about conflict. I'm coming into the space today from a perspective of talking about conflict because it's something that I witnessed, but also it's something that you can witness inside of yourself, right? Be it with your mindsets, be it with the things that you feel day in, day out, how you can sometimes have this moment inside of yourself where you're even combative, where I'm thinking one thing, I'm feeling one thing, I'm not supposed to think that thing, feel that thing. I should be in a conflict, right? So I think it's something that can be a cool topic for us to explore a little bit today. But before I do, let's find something worth saying. Mm. I wonder if there's going to be something that directly touches on conflict. You know what? I feel this one might be it. It goes, you, as a soul, as a divine spark of consciousness, are deliberately choosing to create forms of communication. You are constantly and only creating forms through which you communicate. Communication, then, is the attempt to rest in communion with creation. Even conflict can be a communication in that sense, then. Take a moment to breathe. Try, if you can, to move your awareness from your head, your thinking mind, to your heart. This part of yourself that is ceaseless, rhythmic, in a state of ebb and flow. Entertain the idea that instead of your mind being the driver of all of this, your heart is actually the driver of all of this. After all, our heart is the very first thing that moves when we are in our mother's wombs. From the very start, beating life into us. After recognizing your heart, recognize all of the things that it allows you to experience. Look up and around. If you're in a room, the bathroom, outside, snugged in your blankets right now, just look around. Find one thing to focus on and try and expand it into an infinity in your mind. And you can do so with time. You can imagine that thing you're looking at in 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, 1,000 years. You can imagine it in degradation, imagining it fall apart in those, time frames. Or you can imagine it in the complexity and the amount of effort that had to be practiced in order for it to be where it is right now. Take a moment to listen. No matter what it is you hear, don't judge it, but instead be with it. If it's car noises, dogs barking, children screaming at the top of their lungs, instead of wanting for it to be one way or another, just accepting it for exactly what it is. Being appreciative that you can experience anything at all from that. Take a breath. Remember your heart again, ceaselessly, invigorating you, pumping life into you. From this level of recognition of our heart again, we can rub our hands together, bring them to our heart center. Just feel. Just feel. What do you feel right now? Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you in a state of experience that you want to be otherwise? While you're in this state of feeling, allow yourself to feel where it is you're sitting right now, standing right now, laying right now. Feel the earth supporting you as gravity pulls you down. Feel yourself supporting you as gravity pulls you down. Realize, notice, accept that you are secure in this moment, that you are safe in this moment, supported and taken care of. Take a breath. If you can, try to lengthen your exhale, or at least have it be longer than your inhale. In this moment, we are safe. Next, we can bring our awareness into our place of emotional feeling, love for our family and our close ones, our creative pursuits. Wherever you feel you need to put your attention right now, allow yourself to spend some time with that. What is it you've been feeling as of late? Be it the personal moments you spend with yourself, be it the moments you spend with your loved ones, be it the moments you spend in your creative pursuit. How have you been feeling about that? Take a breath, breathe into your heart. Bring your attention to your sense of willpower, your sense of drive, your sense of want, the things that you do for yourself and for others, the effort you put forth, be it in your working environment, be it in your creative pursuits, be it in your attempt to fix relationships, be it in your want to treat your body correctly with exercise and food and meditation. Whatever it is you have to actively practice willpower to do, notice it within yourself and recognize it, appreciate it. As you exhale, think about the compassionate love inside of you, the compassionate love that it had for you, that your body has for itself to be in this moment as it is right now, to be alive, to be present, to be loving. Think about every single human being on the planet Earth. Switch from skin color to skin color, eye color to eye color, hair color to hair color, body shape to body shape, gender to gender, and see that every single one of them shares the same heart, the same loving awareness, the same compassionate presence. Ask yourself what you would want to say to them. What do you want them to say to you? What is it you want to hear? And what is it you want to have heard? Notice in your own life where you've not been listening, where you have been aware enough to pay attention and to listen, where you've had a hard time saying exactly what it is you wanted to, and where you were in a state of flow to be able to express yourself without any hindrance. As you exhale, notice your intuition. Not only in this moment, but in every single moment that your intuition has served you. Every single moment that you listened to yourself, trusted yourself, looked out into the universe from that place of pure self. Being able to see beyond what is right in front of you. Being able to see what is infinite. And with this last exhale, recognize your connection to the whole. And make a wish. If it's something personal that you need in your life, if it's something for someone else that you need in their lives, if it's something that you want to wish for the whole, I wish for the knowledge and wisdom to be able to help as many people as possible. Thank you, friends. Thank you for taking a breath, for breathing in this moment. With every single breath, you're choosing life. Literally, every single breath, you are choosing life. And I thank you for that. Gartha! How are you, Melt? I'm doing fantastically, friend. I'm doing so well. I'm doing so well. I feel like I'm a superhero as of late. Yeah, give myself some props. I've been so dedicated with diet. I've been so dedicated with exercise and yoga alongside it. I've been so dedicated with like getting things done, actually doing the busy work. I've been so dedicated in growing. It's been a bit emotional. It's been a bit taxing, but it's always been presence. so much, so much staring into the face of infinity, screaming. How about you, Kartha? How are you doing, friend? Isaac says, "Good morning, friends. So much love to each and every single one of you. Hold yourself dear today. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for holding yourself dear as well, Brother Bear. Dan, thank you, man, for joining me, dude. How are you doing? How's the family, Brother Bear? Bo Buck says, peace, love, heart, and chicken and grease, brother. Much love. Much love to you as well. Thank you, Bo Buck. Jimmy Graphite, where is your puppy? Sometimes gravity sucks. Yeah, I mean, I've fell on my face a couple of times. Thought to myself, just this gravity thing is ass. But I've also, danced, and I think it would be a little bit difficult for me to dance if I didn't have gravity. So ebbs and flows. I don't know. Weird at the moment. Kartha, today's whole topic is about conflict. So do you feel like there is a state of conflict happening in your heart right now? Is it something in your external environment that you feel needs to be changed? Is it something in your work life that has been, causing you turmoil? Is it something in your relationships that you feel is not serving you? Is it something in your personal time management, I guess is the way to say it, that you feel could be better? Or is it just one of those feelings of a state of conflict without knowing what it is you're fighting? And no matter which, answer you choose, none of them are wrong, none of them are right. I'm just trying to open doors. Is this your door? No. A war with myself, I guess. Yeah, Kartha. That is usually where the conflict starts, right? Not so much with this person outside of me is such and such. Now I'm gonna go and war them. No, it usually starts with us being in a state of conflict, not allowing ourselves that moment of peace, that recognition. Sometimes never even experiencing it at all. Greetings to eternal conflicts. Greetings to beloved Melita. Thank you for joining us, my friend. And you can think of everything as a conflict as well. Like there's a bunch of microorganisms, fungi trying to eat me and this tree in front of me right now, but because we have these cellular intelligences that keep our bodies safe, that is in a constant state of war against the outside world. And yet, in this moment, we are allowed a moment of calm. But I also feel very physically weird too. I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels off. I don't know what it is. Have you been exercising, Kartha? Have you if something is physically off, like have you been doing or not doing things physically that would, cause that conflict? Without conflict, there's no opportunity for new things. Chips hat. So much love. And a hug to you, Melita. Thank you for joining me, friend. Legend. You're the legend, Mary. Feeling this today, Melt. Lovely people. Thank you so much for joining me. Lisa, I feel it is something that I want to start doing at the start of these streams. Like, I feel the thing I did at the start of this stream, that is technically what these streams are supposed to do, right? Like all of those things, all of those feelings, all of those layers of recognition, we basically touch on all of them, but just doing so with different topics. and kind of like taking ourselves through, a proper like sequence of breathing and addressing these different parts of ourselves, feeling into those different parts of ourselves, I feel has so much benefit just in creating a sense of calm, in knowing that you are so complex, like recognizing the amount of depth within you. And that is just, a fraction still of the amount of depth in you. We have Charles, where when Jimmy Graphite says, I try not to take a breath in the bathroom at work. It stinks. It does stink, friend. It does stink. And yet, you're still the one eliciting that response. I get to appreciate the fresh air right now because I know what stinky air smells like. It was just onset. It was just onset, but it's mostly subsided. Okay, I'm happy to hear that, Kartha. Maybe we can find a moment of calm in this space to kind of like let go of that tension a little bit. Charles asking, is it normal to feel lightheaded when doing deep breathing exercises? Yeah, sure. I think it's light. I mean, I get lightheaded sometimes. I call them waves of euphoria, though, not just being lightheaded these days. Secret to everlasting life. I see a puppy. I did show you as well. I can't meditate without critters being around. Fortunately, there are always critters around, friend. Like even if you don't have a dog close to you, you can just stare down at your hand and imagine an entire, like I want to think civilization, even though it isn't a civilization at all. Maybe community, maybe society, just of like living things on you right now. You have all of the critters around you to meditate with. I see a few trees, but no doggos. Vince, doggo is chilling, chewing a bone right now. I think you might have seen it by now. I feel like the lightheadedness from heavy breathing comes from the sudden release of DMT to the brain. Yeah, I think so as well. That's why I call it like waves of euphoria. Like dude, I wanted to actually say this to Ryan, but I didn't get a chance to. Ryan's yoga practice is one of the most beautiful ones to me. Like I've taken yoga from like a few teachers right now, and every single one of them were different, and every single one of them served a different purpose and allowed me to access a different layer of depth to myself. But Ryan's practice is like a 15-minute, almost like max, practice time, and it kind of like takes you, maybe a little bit longer than that, but it takes you through this process of acknowledging your heart. And every single time you come back to that acknowledging of the heart space, it opens up something inside of you. Symptoms reflect a panic attack or something similar, I suppose. But I was just sitting, having a good time, playing a game, but it kind of took over. I don't know what there would have been to panic about. Kartha, like, unfortunately, I do not know the entire of the infinity that is you in your life. So it's a little bit difficult for me to actually make any clear assumptions. Let me say that. But if I'm gonna have to assume with the limited set of data I have, how long were you playing the game for? And have you been postponing something in your life that the game stands in the way of? Maybe there's a conflict happening in your side, in your, inside of yourself, in that case, where there's this thing I need to be doing. I'm just speaking, I suppose. I'm just speaking, I suppose. We're all just speaking, friend. It's so great to be able to get several teachers to teach you the same thing. It really is. It really, really is. At CAT, there may be some inner conflict you're not paying attention to. I'd suggest to trying to stand still for at least 5 minutes to get in touch with your body first. I think that's a good idea. Not long, But I mean, I kind of have been wasting the whole damn thing playing games. Maybe that's the part of yourself that has a little bit of conflict. And again, I'm not trying to demonize or tell you how to live your life, but just balance, right? It's not about bad, it's about balance. Most of my life, to be honest. Yeah. So like the reason I'm willing to say anything at all, Kartha, is because I've had that as well, where I'm basically busy doing nothing, right? After not doing anything for extended periods of times, like where day in, day out, day in, day out, I've just been doing nothing. And then I'll be chilling in a state of calm, doing nothing, and then suddenly I'm like, what the fuck? Why is there like boss music playing in the back of my brain right now? What is it my brain, my body wants me to do? And I just believe it's that moment of recognizing, hey, dude, you are out of balance. It's time to come back. And I feel Melida's advice was very good. You know, taking a moment to spend some time with yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes, turn off all of your electronics, or at least put them aside, and just breathe. Just breathe. And then see what comes up. And no matter what comes up, just sit with it as well. Would love to hear some RPG boss music as I enter some real life conflict with someone. Suddenly you have that like animated, like 5 frame movement animation. Have those little 4 different attack bars. Person is also. Oh, defeat them with love. I see a few trees with no doggos. I ran from the tree right up to Meltmore's left and ran from the tree. Thank you, friend Jimmy Graphite. Damn it, I missed the popper. I hope it comes back. I mean, I can show you again. I don't know if you actually can see. I don't know if the angle is correct. Well, I do hope Pippi is just doing her thing. Pippi Longstockings. Pippi Pippi. Pippi Long Stockings. There's a whoop dash. There you go. You got to see like a half-hearted tail wag. Where she was like, yeah, I hear you, and I'll acknowledge that I hear you, but I'm not gonna do any more than that. Mm. I missed the popper. I missed my dog. Big brother says, where is your dog right now, friend? If your dog has passed, I'm very sorry to hear that. But isn't it beautiful that you can elicit a loving response, even though it's the feeling of missing something, but you can elicit a loving response from the lack of something. The lack of a stimuli allows you to elicit love. Thank you for sharing that, friend. Who's that behind you? All of infinity, friend. I wish I had a beer. Is that vodka in your glass? Yes. I drink 500 mils of clean vodka at a time. Call it Hermes Plur. It's a new vodka brand. I'm gonna start selling it soon. Just fodder, bro. I think I would be way too right. I don't really handle alcohol that well. Thank you so much, Melt. I really love doing this. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you so much, friend. Like this is all about you. I really appreciate you being willing to take that, moment with me as well. You just granted my wish. I was about to say, worry about you for a minute. Thank you, friend. Thank you. Like I did, like invite something for myself. Like I had this conversation with Ryan last night where the thing that I've been manifesting in my life is enough abundance to feed the world, while at the same time knowing that there already is enough abundance to feed the world. And that's the first thing that Ryan said as well. And he was like, instead of manifesting, I don't know if he said instead of, but that's the way that I heard it for myself. Instead of manifesting enough abundance to feed the world, manifest the wisdom, the knowledge, the articulateness to be able to convince people that have that abundance to share it, to release their grip. If everybody gave everything to everybody, everybody would have everything. Yeah. So it's happening, friends. Might take some time, but it's inevitable with infinity, as everything is. I will for sure. Hey, we have Javan joining us saying, Shan, Lisa, Isaac, any username above and below this comment. I love you. Bunches and bunches. Thank you, Javan, for sharing that love. We have Corey joining us as well. Bunches and bunches of love to you as well, Brother Bear. Thank you for joining us. I've been thinking about Eden a lot. I actually spent some time last night in prayer, like for Eden's risk. I don't know if it's prayer. It was more like asking. I was like, dear universe, please help Eden's wrist. Like my wrist feels kind of fine right now, and I would really like if Eden's wrist felt fine as well. P.S. Also, love to the whole world. Yours truly, Melt. Thank you, universe. Do I know you? I mean, we all know one another on some level, friend. We just have to find out what that level is. Oh, bunches and bunches of Joe Bud love. That's a hot commodity. Oh, yes, it is. I am in a calm state of curiosity. I bring love. Shannon. No, Shell. Sharing love with you as well. Thank you for joining us, my friend. A little bit, 100%. Please do more of such very good head and body space. I feel good. I feel good. Like I also feel like it, benefits me to actually spend the moment just recognizing these different parts of ourselves. And there's so much more, right? Like we could probably have just a whole stream of like scanning different aspects of ourselves, but that might be a little bit much, right? Much. Hey there, the flying alligator. Thank you for joining us. We have Kira Burb joining us at the same time. Thank you for sharing the space, friends. Good day, brother Ryan. So nice to have you here. More friends. The balance between turmoil in life and turmoil in mind is so gentle. We walk the line of manifestation and deconstruction beautifully. We manifest the things we want and don't want to provide a physical habit that is peaceful. And don't want to provide a physical habit that is peaceful. Wyzik. Like, it's so crazy to me. I feel at this point, like, it's almost like you've been becoming smarter and smarter, Isaac. Like, I feel like I've been becoming more stupid. We're just like, oh yes, now I know even more, and now that I know even more, I know even less. Or I realize that there's even more there is to know. And I'm like, oh, I'm stupid. Oh, nice. And then Isaac comes in and says stuff like that. Yeah, I want to read that again and then want to like unpack it a little bit. He says the balance between turmoil in life and turmoil in mind is so gentle. We walk the line of manifestation and deconstruction beautifully. We manifest the things we want and don't want to provide a physical habit that is peaceful. So to me, what that message means is that you are manifesting your reality, right? And if you're manifesting for yourself a reality that is in a state of conflict, there is something in you that is in a state of conflict. That's why you're manifesting that reality. And it's so difficult. It's so hard for us to, as he said as well, to have that physical habit of being peaceful. Taking a moment for ourselves, breathing intentionally. We get so caught up. We get not only caught up with like the things we feel we need to do, but especially so of the things we want to do, right? Like when you're having a conversation with someone and in your mind's pattern, you anticipated that the time you're spending talking with someone was going to be spent doing something else, be it playing a game or watching your favorite show, or maybe you have a game that you want to play with friends and you set a time. And now, because you're having this conversation, you're in a state of conflict, even though there was nothing, conflicting, if you will. The person didn't say anything to arise or arouse that state of conflict in you. Automatically, you're in that state of conflict because you want to do something else, generating that anxiety, that tension inside of yourself. And it's been so interesting to me. Like, it's almost like I've been learning that lesson over and over again. And the way that I've been teaching myself that lesson is as I think about myself dying, and I'm like, if I were to die tomorrow, would I have wanted to spend this time one way or another? And usually, if I ask myself that question, I find myself recognizing that I actually do want to be having this conversation, want to be in the moment I am in right now, instead of being in any other. It can be difficult though. It can be difficult though. Just zoom out a little bit. At least that was help. Kamas manas? What? Wait a second. What do you suppose the first human conflict to arise was? Probably greed. Probably greed, friend. And the case I just made about time, or you wanting to do something else, is, instead of doing what it is you're doing, can be in a way seen as a state of greed as well. You want for something more so than the thing you have right now. Oh, goodness. The mind wants, which doesn't mean that we as individuals actually want what the mind wants. Karma, manas. Yeah, exactly. Your mind thinks it wants things, right? Because it's susceptible. It's very susceptible, and the information that gets put into your mind becomes a part of your mind. That's kind of like how your mind does things. That's how your ego does things. So advertising works because it it does that. It's like, oh, look at these happy people. Look how they're smiling. Look how they're absolutely jiving. Like, must be that Coca-Cola they just bought. Must be, right? And then that shit literally gets embedded in your mind. Like, oh, smiling faces, people, bright colors, movement, product placement. Huh. Yeah, I kind of want a Coke right now. I don't want a Coke right now, but that's where your mind goes. Like, my mind is stuck in this technological want, right? Like, I want tools. But my mind is so ridiculous that it doesn't only want the tools that are available to me right now, it also wants tools that don't even exist. It's like, yes, we want to have access to cybernetic arms that can split its cybernetic arms into smaller cybernetic arms so you can do precision work down to like millimeters. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you, mind. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that want that you just gave me, but I'm not going to devastate myself. I'm not going to put myself in a state of conflict because I don't have that right now. Even though we can. I've done it multiple times. I'm just trying not to. Just really trying to stay aware of that. Your mind wants things all the time. Why? Why? One answer or one question we have to ask ourselves, and the second one is it actually going to make a difference? In the case of, if you have this tool, this object, this piece of clothing, this etc., that you want, is it actually going to make a difference to the person, to the experience you're having right now? keeping in mind the whole saying of no matter where it is you go, there you are. And I got confronted with this reality very, very starkly. Like I spent a year and a half working in China, and I saved up money. Like during my entire high school years, I had this fixation, this fascination about a gaming PC, right? And I really enjoyed playing games as a teenager as well. But in my mind, that was the thing, right? Like I didn't necessarily, sure, I wanted a car, but a, a gaming PC was much more useful in my mind than a car is, because a car is something you can use temporarily to get you from point A to point Z. Oh, oh yeah, sure. And then a computer is technically this fractal into the infinite, internet universe, a spaceship that you get to use to traverse, this internet space, if you will. And I spent this year and a half making enough money to actually buy myself a PC, and I was specifically saving for that. And I came back to South Africa and I bought myself this gaming PC. And I had some money left, and I spent the rest of my money, literally all of it, buying a painting. And the painting was about like maybe 16 to 20%. No, maybe 25 to 30% the price of the gaming PC. And I have had so much love and appreciation for that painting in a different way that I've had love and appreciation for the computer. But after getting this computer, after finishing building it and turning it on and sitting with it, I was like, what the fuck? Why why am I still just exactly the way I am? You know? Why isn't there now suddenly this difference in, oh goodness, and now I got this thing. Oh wow. Oh, now suddenly everything is dandy. I was just like, where happy? Where is the happy? Why am I still exactly the way I am? And it clicked to me that that is always how it's gonna be. No matter how much money I make, no matter how many things I buy for myself, no much no matter how much I create, I'm still going to be me. And if I can't, stop that state of conflict I create inside of myself with wanting things outside of myself, no matter what it is I get, I'm not going to be able to appreciate it because I'm seeking something in it instead of recognizing that it's already in me. The conflict between wanting something outside of yourself and realizing that it's already in you. The mind wants, the soul loves. The process of building the computer was probably more fulfilling than actually having it built. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It was so much fun building it. I was like nerve wracking at the same time, anxiety inducing a little bit because like what if I break something? And then it turned on and it like went straight into it went on and then like turned itself off, like went through like a little bit of a boot loop and then went into the BIOS, and then there was like a state of anxiety in me with that as well. And then after everything like started working, that was the moment of like peak joy of like, oh, it's working. And then yeah, it's working, but now what does that working mean to you? And I was like, oh well, it's working. I can now do things. And that's where I've like put my energy, is in the ability to do things, not in the ability to get things. Oh goodness, I created something hype, exactly. I love creating things. I do. I do. That's why I want more tools. My brain is like, you want to talk about tools? Shows me all of these tools that I want. Most of them are completely impossible at the moment of our technology, but in time, in time. We must deconstruct the turmoil without thought though, finding that it can be rooted in a misbelief a mirage guided by what we've been told or what we are afraid of. We walk the line of insanity. You're completely in tune, Brother Bay. I couldn't put it better myself. On B, love to you. Love you too, Flying Alligator. Thank you so much for the love, my friend. Big Brother says she did pass the last Halloween. She was 12, and it was the best 12 years. And there we go, friend. I couldn't have put it better myself. It was the best 12 years. 12 years of experience, of love that was shared, of scritches, of her being able to run in a park, her being able to sniff other dogs' butts, if you will, being able to drink water, being able to feel the sun on her face. So much beauty. So much beauty was experienced. Thank you for sharing her life with us as well, friend. Sofa, sofa, sofa. Thank you for joining us, friend. Hot media. Hey, did you think about making fire this time? Looking at the rainy clouds, how do you think about the magic of a little fire in combination of weed? I feel fire is something so primal, you know. It's something that elicits so much response in you as well. Like you can, if you cook on the fire as well, it encapsulates all of them. Or if you're willing to eat ash, which could also be a vibe. But a fire is something that encapsulates all of your senses at the same time. It's something you can see, it's something you can feel the heat of, something you can hear the crackle of, something you can smell the smoke of. And you can taste ash and you will have a tasting experience as well, but you can cook food from that fire as well. And it's one of the few things in our world that has that many layers of sensory stimulation. And marijuana, if anything, can allow you to experience your sensory stimulation a little bit more fully. So, marijuana plus fire is just going to be fire with marijuana. It's going to be like, ooh, ooh, pretty fire. Maybe puts you in a state of mind where you're more willing to look, more willing to see, more receptive to the information coming into you. Thank you, Hot Media, for asking, friend. Did you get your package? Like, for what it's worth, Hot Media, I think it was 3 days ago. No, no, no. A little bit longer than that. Maybe a week ago now. Maybe even more than a week. Dude, time. Like, my right brain is pretty much where I'm living from these days. And unfortunately, time melts. Like, just it just completely melts. I'm so happy that I'm showing up every single day because otherwise, I don't know where I would be in the world right now. I would just be like somewhere in the ground, swimming or something. Anyway, anyway, so like there was a fire that my dad made, like basically while I was still streaming, and I got to spend some time. I like actually lit my joint with the fire, spent some time smoking and just looking at the fire as well. So much experience, so much experience to be had all over. Did you get your package? I hope so, Flying Alligator. I've been waiting like months. Like it's been a month waiting for Ryan's package, and it's been like a month and a half, maybe even 2 months now, waiting for Jem's package as well. It's so brutal. I want to manifest wisdom for all. Understand and accept that there is always room for understanding and acceptance. To manifest love for the process. So I saw this almost like bowl of ice, and it had these little imperfection bubbles in it, and then it was on fire at the top of it. Understanding acceptance. I don't know exactly how that links to understanding acceptance. Like I feel if anything, my brain is like trying to play tricks on me. It's like, oh yeah, understanding and acceptance, huh? It's like, how about flaming ball of ice? How about that? You understand that? Do you accept that? Understands and accepts even harder. Thank you, Jovan. Hey, y'all. Hey, Rainbow in a Box. I like your username, friend. Thank you for joining us. I am stupid. Nice. Thanks, Mel. That is extremely sweet of you. I'm hoping your wrist is all good too. It is. It's feeling so much better, actually. Thank you, Eden. Know that I think about you, friends, more than I can say. Literally. Literally more than I can say. And if I could say, and maybe one day I will be able to say, you'll know. You're just gonna like, oh goodness, where's the off button? Oh, so it is. Thank you for that, friend. Manifesting it right back to you. But you got that covered, friend, as you do too. Thank you, Isaac. Like, as you know, Jovan said as well. Like, we can always have more, even more, even more acceptance and understanding. Accepts and understands harder. Jam, we were just talking about you, beloved friend. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing? I'm still laughing since yesterday. There we go. Joy. Suffering comes from thinking things should be differently than they are, and that inevitably creates conflict even within ourselves or outwardly with others. The crazy thing to me, and it's completely right, who needs tears, but I want to add to that, you will create conflict by wanting things to be differently in a social situation, even without saying it. Just you expecting a person to be differently, right? Like they might be sharing something with you, they might be dressed in a certain way, they might be going through their environment in a certain way, and you having this feeling inside of you of like, whatever it is you're doing right now, that's wrong. The way you're dressed is wrong. The way you're adding coffee to your cup is wrong. The words you're saying is wrong, and they shouldn't be that way. Just by thinking those things, you're creating a sense of separation with inside of yourself, a sense of conflict between you and that person. So you're completely right. Wanting for things to be differently is, suffering 101. Thank you for sharing that. Who needs tears? Thank you for understanding it. Newbie guitarist, how are you feeling today, brother Bear? I love hearing this, and we love hearing from you, Tate. Happy to see you return today, friend. I'm actually as well. This guy is going to change my life. He is my idol now. You are going to change your life, friend. I'm just making sounds, so I'm literally just making sounds right now. You're the one changing your life, friend. You're the one who has that truth. You're the one eliciting this response from me making sounds right now. You're gonna do it, friend, and I'm happy to hear that. I look forward to seeing your life change genuinely. Hey man, I'm not getting smarter. I'm getting more detached from reality. I just work in a room all day pondering and slowly losing grips on my sanity. You'd you'd see Isaac. I'm guessing it's supposed to be you'd see Isaac. I see the guy living in the walls from Smiling Friends. Yes. I'm happy that you also watch Smiling Friends. Oh goodness. Like, and I'm curious about stuff like that sometimes, Isaac. I feel, because we are so in tune and we try to be as divine as individuals as we can be, it's almost like a part of ourselves is drawn to those extremely disturbing, bits of content as well. It shows us a part of our humanity that sometimes goes completely unnoticed. And I feel by being able to witness it, on a screen, you allow yourself to feel that within yourself, but it's not something that you have to generate within inside of yourself. So you're not necessarily forming the patterns of thinking to be able to create that, but you do stimulate the patterns of thinking to be able to experience it. Maybe they go hand in hand, I don't know, but I'm happy to hear it nonetheless, Isaac. Feeling, dude, just feeling. I created something. Hype, smirk, love the zoom in on telling the harsh truths. I am the best teacher I could find on the whole world. Yes. So much love to you for that. I couldn't agree more, Melita. You are the teacher, friend. How could I ever teach you as well as you could teach yourself? I couldn't. All I can do is share the things that I see, my perspectives. And then if those perspectives sync up with your perspectives, you can take from your perspectives knowing the perspective that was shared, right? Like I'm like it's a rough example, but I've been thinking a lot even about this lesson that I've been taught about forgiveness and about letting things go. Like on one day, my brand new yoga mat had a bunch of small holes in it and, like mild, like little bit of tears. And I see this basically as I come back inside after having seen one of my trees was cut off, at the root. And there was so much turmoil and like a want to blame, a want to create conflict, between me and someone who did this. And in that moment, I realized that it's done. It's done. The damage has been done. The tree has been cut. What is conflict going to do for me? What is conflict going to do for that other person? If anything, it's going to, separate us even more. And I sat with that, and I'm still sitting with it because it's surreal to me how life teaches us lessons like that, and you are learning those lessons as well in your own life. And I cannot teach you what those. I won't be able to even get close to the depth of lessons that life will teach you. And it's this weird balance of being a teacher while at the same time knowing that you are the teacher. Flossie says something beautiful. I don't even know if it's Flossie's quote, but she tags it in her emails. A teacher shows you where to look. He doesn't tell you what to see. And I feel maybe I'm a little bit guilty of wanting you to see the infinity, but you're just looking for the infinity. What you see within your infinity is what you see with your infinity. So maybe I can still keep myself above water there. You're the teacher, friend. Thank you, Melita. Thank you for that. You are the teacher. We're all the guru. We're all the, you know, savior of this world. Every single one of us needs to be. Otherwise, it won't change. How could it? How could one person, even if they're the loudest, most beautiful, most intelligent, most sophisticated, most, physically fit person, one person can't do shit. All of us as a collective have to do something, have to resolve the conflict that's inside of us. Do you think people are more attached to conflict or harmony? History repeats itself, but in such cunning disguise that we never detect the resemblance until the damage is done. I feel conflict is immediate. So, if we want to talk about what humans prefer, human beings are very impatient by nature, and we want things right now. Pepe, what are you seeing? What are you seeing, Pepe? We want things right now, right? Like without any resemblance of waiting for it. So unfortunately, conflict feeds into that part of ourselves that wants immediacy. If someone says some whack shit to you, you pummeling them is a very immediate thing. Oh, thing was said. Now I'm gonna slap this person. You know, very immediate, creating conflict. Where harmony is something that's a lot more passive, and it causes you to be the bigger person, causes you to be the patient one. So I feel it's not necessarily a question of what do humans prefer. It's more a question of what do you prefer. Noticing that you have both sides of yourself, both sides of that infinity as well, to be the one that is in conflict or to be the one that chooses harmony. Just acknowledging that you're choosing. Sometimes we we choose poorly. Sometimes I choose poorly a lot. I'm cooler, but too scared to be on camera. My friend, what is there to be afraid of? What is there to be afraid of? Like legitimately, what's gonna happen? Like I can get a little bit existential, if I want to. I don't know if it's gonna help, but if if you stream, and you're on camera, and you're like worried about that being on the internet, eventually the sun is gonna consume our planet, when it loses mass and expands because it has less gravity to contract itself into a small little ball. So it's gonna like eat our planet and probably all of the hard drives that is storing this stream right now, right? And then we'll have like a red giant for a bunch of years. Maybe we're living on like the outskirt planets around our red giant still. Maybe your face is still somewhere because you were on camera. And then fast forward a few more billion years, the inevitable heat death of the universe. And maybe we'll, like hunker around a bunch of red dwarfs for as long as we can. And then eventually they will also extinguish their flame. And then there will be no more energy to power the servers. That is keeping your face on the internet, friends. So relax, release the tension. What are you scared of, dude? There's nothing to be scared of. You are that infinity. The mind wants, the soul loves. Of course, you heard that, Jovan. I feel like that one came straight from the heart. Thank you. Thank you so much. Newbie the quiet says the quiet part out loud. Says the quiet part out loud. Oh, like he would snort. Oh goodness, thank you, Shell. Thank you for the love. I appreciate you, friends, so much. Maybe somebody gave me 7 days of Reddit Premium. Thank you so much. I'm grateful towards you. Thank you, friend. I hope that ad-free experience serves you well. I am that way in. Okay, I think I missed some of them. No, I am that way in general. I never let myself take the reins on my desires, and I never let myself do anything, whether it's my art or music, or asking someone on a date, or literally doing anything. That internal conflict. It's a wall, friend. It's a wall that you have to bust down, that you have to straight melt through. You have to burn so hot in your understanding of self that you melt more. That you melt through every single obstacle that's standing in your way and you show up nonetheless. And you don't have to do all of it right off the bat. You can show up for one thing, Kartha. Just like one little thing. Like, oh, okay, I know intrinsically that this thing is good for me. Exercise, diet, meditation. And then that one thing that you believe is true inside of yourself that you feel as value, you start showing up for that. And then you see just how you transform by showing up for something that you believe in. That's the only advice I can give, friend. That's the advice I've given myself to be able to resolve that internal conflict of I'm not good enough. I don't know how to do this thing. I'm just gonna give up. Who wants to hear me say anything? Who wants to hear my music? Who wants to see my art? Na 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 na. And just fucking do it. Just show up and do it. I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit aggressive. It was always a problem for me growing up to do what I want to do. I can't help but worry about what X person will think about X. X person will think something about X even if you do Z, friend. That's the thing as well. And like you mentioned the word desire, and I want to read you something around desire. Desire is not to be feared, but to be mastered. There we go. Huh? How about that one? Let's see if there's more. Yeah, here's another one. And this one is a little bit spicy, let me say. Would you exist if the universe had feared the desire to create and extend love by forming you? Everything, then, is the effect of desire. Fearing desire is the effect of fearing yourself. Kartha, we're not scared of being inadequate. We're not scared of being lesser. We're not scared of being unworthy. We're scared of being powerful beyond measure. That's what we're truly scared of. because it melts away your ego. It melts away the limiting belief systems that you've carried around with you your entire existence. And your ego is fucking terrified of that, like literally shaking in its boots, shaking its bricks, shaking, dude, shaking, shaking, shaking. I am so thankful for this time period. I have so much forced time to sit in a room and not focus too much on anything. I've been able to learn and meditate massive amounts. The odd part is my day to day interactions is at an all time low. Just having my awareness for when I rejoin the world in the spring, I'll be all fit and elevated like the blue guy from Watchmen. Yes, dude, Mr. Manhattan, I believe he's called, right? A record for the first human conflict. Ooga, me Ooga. You have Ooga? I want your Ooga. Give me Ooga or bonk. Exactly. Exactly like that. It was like, Seek, I want Oogas. You have Oogas. Now I'm gonna Ooga Booga you because I'm a bigger Ooga Booga than you are. Gonna take your shit. Dude, it's weird like how it is that way sometimes. You know, and I feel if anything, it's almost like a test of patience, test of will, test of power. You know, the universe is like, oh shit, Isaac is really fucking awake right now. Let's sprinkle some of this bullshit. See if he falls asleep again. And then all you have to do is keep your eyes open, even though life is throwing salt in it. It's like ah, just looking. Keep watching. Stay aware, friend. I know you do, Isaac, and it's so beautiful to me, man. Your streams, your streams come through so beautifully. Also, a record of Eden's morning conflict for coffee. Booga booga. This has been a daily morning ninja vlog. Is the next Thursday or Friday? I'm not sure either. I'm very thankful for this space as well. This is mostly the only social interaction I get daily, let alone the last 5 years or so. Shannon, you are so loved in this space. I hope you know, but I'm sure you do. Thank you for joining us, friend, always. I feel called out. Oh, Eden. Well, I'm glad you're here. This part of my life is very different from my norm of moving a million miles an hour and getting lots done, talking to a lot of people and living into my peaceful solidarity. Like I envision this Meltmore space eventually being something that we can, come together in, and then all of our creative pursuits. I feel like it might be difficult sometimes, like maybe if it's like drawing, maybe only if it's drawing, maybe like color work as well, where you can just like kind of like turn the melt stream on and have it like in the background. Even that is okay, right? Like I was thinking about that so much. Like there's these statistics that they've like now attached to our Reddit accounts, and I don't know why I didn't realize this, but people watch the streams afterwards. Thousands, thousands of people watch the streams afterwards, and like I was like, what? What? People share it as well. Like it gives you like a links a shared thing as well. So like my people are sharing it, and I just imagine, like the amount of influence, the amount of ripples that we're putting out into the world every single day by showing up in the space for love. Literally, with this intention of love is true. It's so surreal. Like, I don't even have the words to articulate what it's done to me. Never mind trying to imagine what it's done to hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of us. Through these streams, we've touched more than 10 million people. And even if it was only for a second, right? 10 million individuals, 10 million souls, 10 million infinities. so surreal. I appreciate you, friends, more than I can say. Gem with the I would love to have my hair done by you. I feel like it would be an incredible experience, and a trip to a salon is a huge pleasure for me. I feel the same. Hair, therapy? Therapy. Goodness, I'd be so happy to have you as a client. If I'm ever in your neck of infinity, I'll make sure to drop by. There we go. Thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, the lessons we teach ourselves are often learned the hard way. Oh yeah. Like it's funny to me sometimes that you and it's very funny to me that you say that as well, Corey, because I feel like I'm kind of in that role sometimes where I'm like, oh shit, guess we're learning some more hard lessons again today. And then I bring that hard lessons that I've had to learn to you, friends, being like, oh, look at this. Look at how whack infinity can be sometimes. And you're like, oh, oh nice. Interesting, Mel. And then maybe something happens in your life, and then it can be that little, fractal attachment, a connection that you can make. Same goes. If I ever make it out to wherever lucky space you occupy, I'm in the UK, in case you didn't already know. I believe that our beloved Isaac is in Canada. I don't think he says, but I do believe he is there. Aghand Bharat for the word. I don't know who that is. Outrageous map. So I'm not exactly, in a state of feeling comfortable enough to support you in your support. I'm glad you're making this time for yourself, friend. It's so important, as you are as well, friend. Like, this is something that we're doing for ourselves and for us as a collective. Being able to live into our individuality while noticing our infinite connection of oneness. It can feel dualistic, and yet dualistic thinking and feeling is just dualistic in and of itself as well. Separation in and of itself as well. You cannot separate yourself. None of us can. It's been hard. Some days I'm worried. I need to change situations, but the other parts of me is saying adapt, relax, and enjoy this time and differences. We must remember that every story is worth telling. Beautifully said, Brother Bear. And I feel, remembering that every story is worth telling is a very easy or useful way to remind ourselves to practice non-conflict as well. Because if we like, oh yeah, this person is just telling their story, instead of feeling like they're attacking your story, they're just telling theirs. Conflict comes from taking things personally. That it does, friend. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. And try your best. If we can live by those four agreements, to one another, life will be a lot easier. So I'm mortified because I was watching Smiling Friends on Jasmine's Grammy HBO, and I finished it, but noticed it was watched again recently. Turned out our 6-year-old bunny thought it was a kid show. I mean, like I'm tripping out a little bit about what you mean exactly, Isaac. But when you say 6-year-old bunny, I'm guessing it's your cousin, or because I'm pretty sure you don't have kids just yet. Pretty sure you don't have kids just yet. But yeah, very much not a kid show. I mean, I guess he learned some things. Maybe that is what his conscience is called for. It's a little bit grim, but good. We're all such wise and loving humans. It's such a pleasure having found such high quality beings. Kira Burb, thank you for being one of them. So I'm a great role model. Yes, you are, friend. Yes, you are. Or we can consume energy from black holes. Technically, we could do that with Hawking radiation, but even that eventually has to, get depleted as well. Like how you know the point I'm trying to make, friend. When you extrapolate far enough, you realize that all you can do is live in this moment. And I like practicing these existential thought patterns because it just makes me all the more aware of how beautifully infinite and full this moment already is. That there is surely so much complexity yet to be had within this infinite universe that we're a part of. And yet it's already here. It's already here. Problem for me. People think all we know to be true is what we know. Nothing is that we know nothing. Yeah. All I know is that I know nothing. It's one thing. Well, technically, I know two things. I know that love is true, and I know nothing. Those two sides of the infinity. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that, Kartha. Hey, Mariah, even if showing up is your thinking about the steps to get there, start somewhere. Mm, thank you for sharing that as well, Maria, Mariah. First of two messages Isaac is sending. The interesting thing is conflict usually breeds frustration, anger, or fear. All of these have an extremely short life in the body. Naturally, we aren't equipped to be stressed or afraid for a long period of time. Very good point, actually. Once the emotion and feelings arise, pay attention to the sensation itself, watch it dissipate, and continue. We retell the story of anguish over and over all day when something has irritated us. These feelings are not an assault on the psyche. The inability to grapple that we do, in fact, feel some type of way is the attack. We attack our own balance when we get tangled in these emotions. They are nothing more than a sound arising in our eardrums, arising and falling of its own regard. Beautifully said, Brother Bear. So beautifully said. It's your fractal generator, and if something happened in your fractal that is like your infinity, that's like some bullshit, and you're like, oh, some bullshit, and then you're like, oh, some bullshit, and you're like, oh, some bullshit. How about you put the bullshit down? How about you stop doing that? I don't know. And it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done, but we are capable of it. Just noticing that you're not your thoughts is the way that I do it sometimes, where I'll be like thinking, mind, 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 and I'm like, okay, if you say so, mind. Thank you. My nephew wants you to know. He says hi. He's 4. Hello, little nephew. It's nice to see you, friend. Well, yes. Pretend that I'm looking at you right now. My package. I don't know if maybe she was asking me, but I don't know if you're receiving a package as well. Maybe you are, Aunt P. Even we are not Lieutenant Commander Data of a cybernetic brain. We still can program ourselves, even if we are not Lieutenant Commander Data of a cybernetic brain. Yes, you are right, friend. We can reprogram ourselves, hot media, and we have some like proper evidence for this as well now. There's a lot of research getting poured into epigenetics. We have a bunch of DNA, and only a small percentage of it gets expressed for us to be the way that we are right now. But there is all of this unexpressed DNA that can, in my opinion, allow us information, power, even personal power, beyond what we can imagine is even possible right now. And all we have to do is set an intention, choose a direction, and then keep heading in that way. 3 genome or gnome says, and then something you just show up for the very limited things you love most in life. Maybe it's not some huge transformation, rather just dedication. I agree completely, friend. I agree completely. Just be dedicated to something. Believe in something. Believe in love, and then show up for something you love in. You something you love, right? Be like, yeah, I really love doing this thing, and then allow yourself an hour a day in which you do this thing that you love, and you'll actually see your life changing as a result of that. Manifestation delivery. Yes. You look like Chris Pratt, online shopping whore. Yes, me and Chris Pratt both have eyes and a mouth and a nose and ears, and we're bipedal humanoids. We do look alike. You're right. Thank you, friend. I never noticed. Oh, yeah, I do that too. Some days I think I'm losing it, spending so much time in my own head. The other days, I feel like it's totally okay. Finding that balance, but being grateful for it all and the experience. Shannon, I know that you're, getting better and better at that as well, friend. It's difficult for me as well sometimes, but I feel it's necessary. It's like actually necessary for us to have that time in our own heads as well. Taking about the video you did. There we go. Katie, thank you for joining us, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. We love you too. So many people are in love with you, Melty. Keep pushing forward. The world is most peaceful than when it is than is more peaceful than it's been in any part of my frame of reference. Mariah, people aren't in love with me. They're in love with the idea of me, right? And as long as that idea stays, love, the understanding that love is true, the understanding that you can be loving too, then by all means, I feel it's a good thing that we are in a state of being in love. But there is only love, you know? And the love you have for me, the love I have for you, is on a very fundamental level the love you have for the ultimate self. And recognizing that, being willing to admit that to yourself, like, oh yeah, I love this person, be it your significant other, I have a bee doing some things. Like, be it a relationship partner, be it a child, be it a work colleague, be it a pet that you have such an intense love for, realizing that it's you. You are that love. Literally, you are that love. And all this thing, this person, this animal, this delicious meal, this beautiful song is doing is allowing you reunification of the love that is you. And, if we can all have more of that, I believe we're going to be in a great place. Thank you so much, Mariah. Genuinely. Like, I appreciate it more than I can say. Your surreal melty melt pants. Your surrealism is definitely touching the masses in the best way possible. We all are. Friend, like you friends are the ones, bleeding into the infinity that is me as well. And I couldn't have wished for more beautiful nodes of infinity. Like I can literally, so just like let's do this thought experiment. If I think for a second, I I want to create for myself a reality where I'm going to be influenced by the most beautiful people in the entire world, then that reality would be you. I cannot even imagine, and I have the means to imagine, I cannot even imagine a better reality, a more loving reality, better individuals to spend my time with than you friends. And it's jarring to me sometimes where it's like, what the hell? How is this even true? how, how, how is this even happening? And we're doing it, friends. We're actually doing it. This realism is part of why I love Estian and all of you so much. It is a welcome break from my unusual thoughts. It's a welcome break from the realism of our reality sometimes. Ah, yes. Vehicles, clothing pieces, yes. Eats food. How about you imagine? How about you imagine this? How about it? All of us just having our brains melted. All you can do is live in this moment. This is where we are. You can never escape this moment. Never. Like it's impossible even. Wait, you have a bun? I don't know about that. I'm also like curious, Shannon. I don't know if it's actually a bunny. Did I just become a Canadian citizen? No. Isaac, I'm so sorry. Like for some reason, you and Eden is in the same place within my like fractal generator. I feel you and Eden almost showed up around the same time. Maybe that's why. So it's like chronologically being generated or something. So like I was like drawing from that infinity and was like, yeah, Isaac is now a Canadian citizen. I'm sorry about the bear. No, I mean maybe we manifest that for you. Do you want to be a Canadian citizen? Meant Bubby, not Bunny. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Bubby, like Haywire Hills Bubby? Okay, there we go. Bubby is our cousin. His name is Enzo. We actually have a friend called Enzo joining us as well on these streams. He might as well be attached at my at the hip to me. Poor guy. Watch the Halloween episode. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. Well, like, what did he say? Is he traumatized? I'm sorry to ask that. Time for sushi and jiaozi. I don't know what jiaozi is, but I hope you have an amazing time, dude. Sounds good. I've been really enjoying sushi. I think I've like had sushi under 20 times my entire life, but I've been appreciating it more and more. For the bun lover, don't get me wrong, I love a good bun, animal and gluten. I have two buns. There we go. You do? What color are they, Shannon? I'm really curious. Love them. They give you lots of snugs and nuzzles today. Thank you for that. Meld, you're living in the state of love. If we're also in the same state of love, then we're all in the state of love. We're all in love. At least I'm in love with all of you. Mm, thank you, Jovan. You know, and it's so crazy to me as well because there was a part of myself that was in conflict of being or of having people in love with me, right? Where it was like, no, you shouldn't be in love with because the reason, right? Like not wanting to be idolized or not wanting to. I'm just a human being, just a freaking person, right? So like I'm not all that. And then of course you like completely dissipate all of that conflict inside of me by saying something like that. Technically we're all in love, in that state of love, and I've said this before as well. You know, when I say I love you friends so much, it's because I know this awareness, this I awareness, this peering into this universe is the exact same for you. It's the exact same for you. You might have a different body, had different parents, had different things happen to you, and as a result of it, have a personality. But on the most fundamental level, we're still that loving awareness. And I love you. Loving awareness. I love you so much. As long as there's a treat. Seriously, you friends are love itself. No, you! No, you, Jovan! No, you. So beautifully said. Right! I couldn't put it better myself. Like, literally, I didn't even try to put it that well myself. The flying alligator. I'm so happy to have so much perspective. Ah, the conditional love of non domestic animals. Yeah, huh, Peppy? Where's my love? I have schnackos. She's like, I have a bone, dude. Or schnackos ain't mean none. Food and sleep heal. Food and sleep heal. They do. There has been something on that subject that I've been dwelling on. I have a thing for a coworker, but I don't want to make it awkward at work or anything. But a few people think that she's into me, but I'm afraid of asking, or am I afraid of being happy? Maybe both at the same time, Cartha. Who knows? You know, if anything, be casual about it. You know, just like go up to her and be like, "Hey, so I felt this way. I've thought these things. Can you let me know?" You know, like there's no expectation. I just want to know, right? Like I want to have that state of calm, that state of peace inside of me. What do you feel? What do you think? And then hearing that, all you need to do is be respectful. The only way that you can make it awkward is if you're going to be weird about it. If you're now suddenly going to be, hurtful towards or shunning away from, or like if those things are in your nature as well and you have to interact with her on a day-to-day level, there's so much complexity. It's your infinity, friend. You have to choose. You have to choose what life you want. And depending on what you choose, you're gonna get. No, I wouldn't be. No, I wouldn't. But again, I always worry about how others react versus me. Others will always react, friend. Literally, that's the only thing that you can guarantee. It's like they'll react for sure. Doesn't take away your power to act in the first place. They're just reacting to your actions in the first place at the end of the day. So you're the one that's the one in power, dude. Literally, you're giving your power away by worrying about others. Good morning, friends. I hope the day has found you well. Uncle Becky, infinite love to you as well, Brother Bay. Thank you for joining us. The day has been treating us so well. Today's stream feels good. Really, really good. I feel very aligned. I don't know if that's the right word. How about you? Are you on your way to work right now? These days, I feel like that love is what's holding me together. Oh, me too, Kira Burb. Literally, like just getting absolutely melted and being held together by that core of love. The reality, as we're never, the reality as we're never not spending time in our heads is about feeling comfortable in our heads and realizing that that feeling of a head itself is just another appearance within us. So beautifully put as well, Isaac. Yeah, another expression. All of it. You are an expression of the infinite divine. Your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, your appetites, your experiences, expressions of the divine. Stop fighting it. Stop fighting yourself. The Hugh guy, I often see you streaming. Do you do this every day? Greetings from Scotland, by the way. Yeah. Do this every day, friend. I feel, it's funny to me because I know that I've been doing it every day, but every single time I have to admit that to myself, it's like I surprise myself, because I remember who I used to be. And it's like kind of like floaty or spacey, right? Just constant spacey. Like you can see there's a person right in front of you, but that person isn't really there all the way. I sometimes feel like I'm not here all the way. And just by, making an intention to show up every single day, I feel like I found myself more than ever. Thank you for finding us as well, friend. So nice to have you here. Oh yes, it's totally okay though. Seeing them, and I live in South Africa, so greetings from South Africa to you as well. Seeing them, Binky and happiness. Binky, I'm guessing like jump around, and happiness makes me feel makes me so incredibly happy. Oh, that makes me incredibly happy to hear. Incredibly happy loops happening. Hey, it's that lucid guy, Yash! Dude, hello! Hope everyone is great. Brother Bear, even better now that you're joining us again, dude. It's been forever. How's life been treating you? How's Cape Town? How are you? We are just freaking human beings. Yes, yes. Both. We're both. We're freaking human beings and also all of divinity. And it's about finding that balance, being able to recognize ourselves as both. Being like, yeah, but also yeah, but also yeah, but also melting them together. My male bun, Gavin, is a broken blue tort. I posted a picture in the Discord, and my female, Abby, is blue. Hmm. Hmm. Are you serious? I have to go and check that out, Shannon. I've been really distant of the Discord because I just have too much going on inside my head that I don't have any room to put any more stuff right now. But I want to go and check your rabbits out. Blue? Blue rabbits! Part of myself is like, dude, you just like clipped into a universe where animals are blue. Just had to look at Pippi to make sure. Thank you for sharing that, Shannon. I'm from North California originally, but fresh to Ohio. There we go. A southern transplant. He was just confused. I let him know it's a weird adult show. We watched from Godzilla to get his mind off of it. I'm happy to hear that. I mean, it's gonna influence his fractal as well in one way or another. Smiling friends. You know what's weird, Isaac? Watching that show, I was like, I can do that job. It was like this job is made for me. People will pay me to make other people smile. What the hell? I can do that job. Where do I find a job like that? He liked some of the characters, but the boss, and for obvious reasons, the demon freaked him out. It's okay. We all need a little trauma. Maybe Enzio's conflict was seeing the demon get beat down. Yeah, 100%. And I feel maybe it's a little bit too jarring, but being willing to sit with him and be like, do you see parts of yourself in these characters? Do you see yourself as the person who can make people smile? Do you see yourself as the devil that can ruin people's lives? Yeah? Isn't that neat? Huh? Isn't it cool that you have all of this potential and you get to choose what you want to be, what you want to do? I just need to resolve my inner conflict so I can stop wasting my life and live for myself. Maybe this is the way to start. Force myself to show up for something I can control, like my art or music. Exactly, friend. It's just that I want to say it's that easy. It's not easy. It's that easy, but it's also hard. But it's one of those efforts that is always rewarding, always rewarding. And by creating a sense of synchronicity of inside of yourself where you're like, yeah, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, eventually you will be able to do it. And not only will you be able to do it, but that continuous I can do this has become your mantra of manifestation to be able to do what it is you're doing by doing it. None of us wake up and know exactly what it is we're doing, how it is we're supposed to be doing it. We're constantly in this state of learning. And I appreciate you for being willing to listen to yourself, Kartha, for being in an open and receptive place. Cape Town is great. Come visit. Dude, I don't have a car still, Yash. Maybe at some point. Like I do plan on like traveling South Africa, like really traveling South Africa. Like I have a whole fractal in my brain of like what I want to do, but that fractal is going to be expensive. I'll come and do that, dude. Like actually, Christian and Johan went to Mozambique. Is driving to Mozambique right now. So they're going to Mozambique to like a week music festival, like a week long music festival. And like Christian is sending me messages on Johan's phone where he's like, "Hey, we won't be able to make the podcast this weekend because we're partying at Mozambique." No, 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 no. And I'm like, dude, I hope you have an amazing time. Sending you so much blessings. Please do dance for me, like dance on the dance floor for me. And like he starts replying, and it's Johan's number, and I'm like, this is Christian who's talking to me right now. I can see in the way that he talks, and he's like tuning me, like absolutely throwing shit my way. Like I think I basically said something like, is this Christian? Or I think I said I feel like this is Christian typing right now, and he's like, yeah, of course it's Christian, nuts. And I'm like, and I'm like, I'm so galaxy brain that my brain doesn't even have the means to stay in this physical realm. So it had to create a parallel dimension within which the rest of my brain can be contained. And he's like, massive shit or something like that. Just like absolutely throwing nonsense at me. And I was like in such a state as well, in a potential state of conflict of inside of myself when I get this message of them telling me, oh, they're going to Mozambique. And they didn't not invite me, but we had the conversation like months ago, like maybe 6 months ago. No, 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 about 4 months ago now. We had the conversation about Mozambique, and they were like, "So, would you want to go to Mozambique with us?" And I was like, "I would love to, but the biggest thing for me is being able to have a stable internet connection to be able to continue the daily streams." And we just didn't talk about it again. And then today I heard that they're going to Mozambique, and there was this part of myself that was like, "Oh, why didn't you ask me again? You know, even though I was gonna say no, why didn't you ask me again?" And then I spent some time with that, and I was like, "Really, bitch? Really, really, dude? Really? You're gonna cause conflict in yourself with your beloved friends because they were smart enough to know that you were going to tell them no? Really?" And then I was like, "Bro, let go of this thought pattern. You know, it's not something that serves you." And as soon as I let it go, I sent them the message, you know, sending them love on their journey and their experience. And then Christian is the one replying on Johan's number. And Christian and me have a very beautiful relationship where I try to be the loving, mushy, shower you with, you know, positive compliments friend. And he is the calls you an asshole, you know, like throws you with a slice of ham type of friend. And because of that contrast, we like fit so perfectly as friends. And then, you know, he like kind of like lays into me like just as an absolute asshole in the chat, and I'm like, yeah, thank you, universe. You know, so beautiful that I could have been in this state of conflict, and if I let myself stay in that state of conflict, these things that he's saying to me would have been met with anger or with disdain or with a feeling of this is not the time or this is not the right thing to do right now, no, 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 no. And it was instead met with just this playful nature of the back and forth. Conflict is everywhere and nowhere. You. Birdie Burb, your love is like a dense ray of light bending and intertwining between all of the other love lights. We help each other keep it together because it is what we are called to do. You are love, loved, loving, and lovable. Thank you for sharing that, Kira Burb and Jovan. Blue as in like a blue gray. They're absolutely beautiful. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Thank you, Shannon. I just imagined your rabbits is like, you know, like vibrantly blue. Womp. Mm. Love you, Yash. Excitement follows when you pop into brain. Yes, you do. Genuinely, Brother Bear. It's nice to have you here. Same with you. If you ever feel like something you care about is insignificant, remember you are not the author, but the book. And if you care, then the universe is using you as a vessel to appreciate the same thing. You wouldn't care if the world didn't. Lean into the infinity. As the way I would finish the message. Aaron just sent me a message. Do send Aaron some loving loves, please, friends. Woohoo! And the same with you, California. Carolina, 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 not California, silly. Thank you. I am dyslexic. You do know that, right? Like I don't actually know how to read. I'm just pretending. The office of smiling friends is the vibe and appearance is so weirdly synchronous to the old college apartments that five of my friends all resided and did drugs in. Mm. Dude, it must be done such a trip actually watching it in that way because you're seeing like synchronicities of inside of yourself on top of synchronicities in the environments you've been in, on top of synchronicities in the show that you're watching, the characters and the environments that the characters find themselves in as well. So many infinities. Friends! I actually have to do a bit of a jig, a dance to say thank you to you beloved friends. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm going to finish, I think, the YouTube stream for now. I just need to resolve. Kartha, you got this. You freaking got this, friend. You got this. 100%. I love you and I appreciate you. Stop fighting yourself. Okay? Alright. Stop. Stop. You don't deserve that. You deserve so much more. You deserve love. I appreciate you. I love you. Goodbye.